Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to be talking about the September month reading, and this is going to be a very interesting month. Difficult month as well, because we are going to be facing two eclipses, which is the lunar eclipse coming on around 7th of September, and then around 21st, 22nd of September we will find the solar eclipse coming as well. Now the lunar eclipse will be falling when moon comes in conjunction with Rahu in the sign of Aquarius, while the solar eclipse will come in place when moon will be conjunct with sun in the sign of Virgo around 21st of September. And both of these eclipses will be extremely crucial because they are going to be defining the way we are going to be approaching things. The lunar eclipse is going to be eclipsing our thought process, our decision making, our belief system, because Rahu is going to cast that shadow in your decision making as well. And depending on where this eclipse is happening in your chart, you will be affected accordingly. Whilst solar eclipse is going to be happening again with the conjunction of moon with sun, when moon is going to essentially eclipse over the sun, he is going to be falling right between the earth and the sun. But again, you will have to understand that this is going to be a partial solar eclipse, which is going to be happening in different parts of the world. Depending on what part of the world you are going to be watching this video from, you will have a respective impact as well as based on your zodiac signs. So without further ado, what we are going to do now, we are going to look into some of the important dates that are going to be coming into picture in terms of transit and understand what's going to be meaning it for us. Now, guys, as you can see on your screen here, that Sun is currently in the sign of Leo until 15th of September. And then for the second half of the month, it is going to be transiting into the sign of Virgo. Now, Sun has been in its own Leo sign, but imagine it has been in difficult situation with its conjunction, with its collaboration with Ketu in the same house so far. Then Mercury is in Leo until 14th of September, and almost a day ahead it will advance into its sign of exaltation in the sign of Virgo from 15th of September onwards. So predominantly both Sun and Mercury are going to be remaining in the first half of the month in your Leo sign, and then they will together transit a day in difference into the sign of Virgo. Venus is in the sign of Cancer until September 14th, and it is going to come into the sign of Leo, where it will become conjunct with Ketu from September 14th onwards. Now, that is going to be very crucial, and we are going to analyze as to what sort of an impact we can anticipate there. Mars is in the sign of Virgo. It is there until September 12th, and from 13th onwards, it is going to be moving into the sign of Libra. Jupiter continues its presence in the sign of Gemini itself in Chatra. So that is a good bit that is happening there. And it is going to be in the sign of Gemini for the month of September. Remember, October is the time when it is going to be moving into its sign of exaltation. Saturn is continuing in its motion of retrogression, and it is in Pisces in Uttara Nakshatra. And the most important thing, guys, you have to understand here is that Saturn will be coming into deepest retrogression because it will be bang opposite to Sun as well from the second half of the month. So it will be getting into its deepest retrogression during the month of September, and that is where its impact becomes extremely crucial for all of us. Lots of things happening. Saturn getting into deep retrogression, two eclipses as I was addressing before, and then Rahu is in Purva Nakshatra of Jupiter itself in the sign of Aquarius, while it is coming out, in degrees. So it is coming out of its Bal Avastha. It is going to get a lot more strength in its itself. But the lunar eclipse is where it is going to cast its magic, and you have to be very sharp, shrewd in terms of understanding what sort of a impact it will have for you. And then Ketu, of course, is sitting in Pur Falguni nakshatra itself of Leo of Venus, which is where he will be becoming conjunct with Venus. So, guys, without further ado, we will now deep dive into your monthly reading and understand that what these transits are going to be impacting and how they are going to be impacting you for the course of the month. So, guys, as you can see on your screen here, Capricorns, you have Rahu sitting in your second house, Saturn, who's your Lagna Lord, or if you're watching this from a Capricorn moon sign perspective, your Rashi Lord sitting in your third house, where he's in retrogression. And then you have this cloud of planets in your, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth that is having most of the action for the course of month of September. Now, before we talk about the down part of the chart, let's look into the upper chart itself, where you are going to face with lunar eclipse happening in your second house. Now, lunar eclipse will happen on 7th of September when moon will be coming and becoming conjunct with Rahu. And now see, Rahu has come out of its, lesser degrees. It is going to get into Yuva Avastha. It has come out of the Bal situation. And that means it is going to gain strength. It is going to bring strength in its magnitude of cynicism, mysticism, illusion, confusion, fear, all of that, ambition, your appetite towards money, towards gains, etc. It's going to magnify all of that. But at the same time, when he's casting that shadow on the moon and that eclipse is coming into picture, you would realize that this is where difficulties will also arise to matters related to the second house. It will bring difficulties with matters related to your relationships, your marriage, your spouse. And the reason I call that out is that whilst everywhere we can talk about, how there will be new beginnings and new changes. But of course, when you get into the deepest trouble, that is where the new beginnings also come. It's like going to the rock bottom and then coming up. There is no other way. So for all of us, folks, I've not done a separate video on lunar eclipse, but for all of us, it's going to be a challenging thing. But the kind of challenges we are going to face will depend on where that is happening. And this is happening in the house of savings for you. It is happening in the house of speech, in the house of your family, your connections, and your seventh lord is the one who is actively participating in it. So it is happening for your business partnerships, for your marital relationship, for your spouse as well. And it becomes paramount, absolutely crucial for you guys to understand here that no matter what, refrain from any kind of argumentative situations with your partner, with your family members. Don't let greed, don't let your personal gains, don't let your, gluttony rule over you. Gluttony, because second house is the house of food as well. And that ambition of Rahu, that expansion of Rahu, and then that shadow of Rahu on the moon is going to bring some or the other way an impact in your life, which is what you have to navigate extremely carefully during the course of this month. The other bit that you have to also understand is that your Lagna Lord, or if you're watching it from a moon sign perspective, your Rashi Lord will also get into its deepest retrogression in your third house. When Sun will be bang opposite to it in the ninth house. So that will be around 21st of September. But we will touch upon that bit in a second. See, a retrograded planet has deepest level of Cheshtabal, or the highest level of Cheshtabal, which means the intensity to do things, the aggression to do things will be higher. And because Saturn is sitting retrograded in your third house, where he is going to sort of be impacting your courage, your efforts, your actions, being the Lord of second and first, means that the impact of solar eclipse becomes all the more crucial, all the more critical for us to understand here, folks. And Capricorn, that is where your speech, the way you are communicating, the way you are expressing your ego is so crucial to manage to navigate, because if you do not do that, you will realize that somewhere or the other, there will be a clash either with your family members, with your siblings, with your spouse, where they will not be able to see the point you are trying to make, but how you are making that point is going to become critical. Your efforts could be driven towards your own personal safety. You might have to, for at least 4 or 5 days, couple of days before 7th of September, couple of days beyond that, between 5th to 10th, 11th of September, you have to just let go of things. Now, I'm not saying that you take any losses for yourself or you let anybody overpower you, but it might be challenging for you to explain your thought process because your communication could either be very sharp, it might not show due respect, or it might just cut through like knife to other people. And that becomes very, very challenging. You have to also understand that Saturn from here is giving a retrograded aspect towards your fifth house. Not a great time for family planning. This is not one of the best periods with respect to speculative activities as well. Investment strategies. Yes, your expenses could be on the rise. See, the Rahu, Jupiter, and even at some point in time, in the last part of the month, Mars will also be in trine to this thing. But Jupiter is giving an aspect to the 12th house, so expenses could be on the rise, and you might want to speculate, do take certain actions. But there is such a cloud of planets in your eighth through the course of this month, with Ketu already placed there, Venus also coming in at some point in time, and then Mercury and Sun moving out of it, that it might not be the best period for you to take those kind of random decisions. And that is why I was warning that ambition of Rahu through the eclipse might prompt you to do something. Take a step back. That new initiative in your business, that new initiative in your job, that new investment that you've been thinking of, that new purchase that you've been contemplating, that new course that you might want to buy, is it worthwhile or not? Just take a step back and evaluate it. He's giving a retrograded aspect to your fifth house, which means matters related to your children, related to your romances, would also find difficulty. And yes, Venus is the lord of that, which will become conjunct with Ketu in the eighth. So you understand where I'm heading towards, and I'll talk about that when I'll talk about Venus. So that becomes extremely crucial. He's giving a retrograded aspect towards the ninth. You will find that the support of your clients, customers, bosses, superiors, father might fade away. They might just be creating unexpected challenges for you. Do not react. Sustain that for now, because that is what is needed in this hour. It is a difficult period where you'll have to sustain those difficulties and come out of it through sheer grit. And Capricorns, who knows that better than you folks? It's giving a retrograded aspect towards the 12th as well. Maybe this is the only blessing that Saturn is giving, because he's also saying that I'm going to take away certain losses for you and maybe result into gains. But where? Maybe you might be able to catch better sleep for some time, especially when Sun moves out of the 8th house. Luminary in the 8th, how would you sleep enough? So maybe that gets better. Maybe it will give you gains through spirituality. So many planets in the 8th, and then the aspect of Jupiter and Saturn also coming towards the 12th. So that can help you. But it can also help you if you are associated with any kind of foreign trades, export-import kind of businesses, any kind of work which involves you working in projects related to MNCs, from people far away from your current place of residence, from where you are operating. But at the same time, it could mean that your losses could just get delayed to a certain extent. Now that decision making, acting upon it, or there could just be significant amount of lethargy that might creep in you guys. I know Saturn in the third, it makes you a fighter, it makes you toil hard, but there could be that sadness that might come in, and where you feel I don't have the urge to put in enough efforts. And you know what, Capricorns? Whilst I'm advising everybody against it, in this case, I will say it is not bad sometimes for us to not do something. Sometimes that is the need of the hour. Now you have to look into your natal chart, your dasha, antardasha, if you're going through Saturn, Moon, Sun, whatever one of these, then the difficulties will of course be higher. But it is okay if you need to take a step back, assess, reassess, and then define your path ahead. When we move further, we see that Jupiter, which is the lord of your third house where Saturn is placed, and your 12th house is placed in the sixth house. He's forming a Viparit Raja Yoga for you folks. Now, Jupiter's placement in the sixth, as I've mentioned before, it's not the easiest. But the good point from here is that Jupiter is giving an aspect to your 10th house, 12th house, and second. So being trying to Rahu, some of that confusion with the family, that argumentative situation, that madness towards money, greed, gluttony can be addressed by Jupiter. And that is the best thing that can happen for you folks. So be connected with that inner self, with that inner spirituality, religion, research, self-reflection. This is going to be a month of that. It's a tough month, folks. September is going to be a challenging month for everybody, these eclipses are not easy, and the way they are coming in, they are not the easiest eclipses to deal with. And fortunately, unfortunately, I cannot come with only positive predictions every time. My responsibility is, my fiduciary responsibility is to tell where we have to be prepared with respect to challenges as well. Dev astrology is all about positive mindset. But yes, it's also about being prepared. And that is what this month is asking us to be. Venus is placed in your seventh. This is a good thing. Venus is the lord of your fifth house and your 10th house. 10th lord, 10 places away from itself in the seventh house itself. It's a good placement. Venus is in a good situation for you folks. And thereby, it brings the ability for you folks to do well with respect to your business associates, with respect to your spouse, with respect to your marital relationships. Some of you might want to move ahead in terms of translating your romance into marriage. Some of you could be taking initiatives with respect to your children, doing something for your kids, doing something completely transformative in your career and your workplace. But the time period to do that is going to be the first half of the month, because second half of the month will bring different set of complications when Venus becomes conjunct with Ketu. Before we go about talking about the second half of the month, I want to again bring your attention. In the first half, you will have Ketu conjunct with Mercury and Sun in the eighth house. Eighth lord is in the eighth house. It is a great situation to be in if you are looking at it from a research perspective, if you are looking at it from a learning perspective, introspection perspective. But remember, not everything is going to give you the desired result here as well, because Sun is getting swallowed with that impact of Ketu. The difficult bit is that Mercury is the lord of your ninth house and it is 12th to itself. So it's like destiny or bosses or clients or superiors not giving you enough support, certain problems coming in. But he is forming Viparit Rajoga as well. And these combinations have been there for a while for you because Mercury is your sixth lord into the eighth. So after facing those problems, after facing those challenges is when you will be able to overcome those problems too. So probably the second week of September is going to provide you that degree of respite, but it will be a short breather. Yes, it is going to be crucial for you to understand that even though eighth lord is in the eighth, because of Ketu's presence here, the recognition of what you are putting in with respect to your hard work, the gains that you can derive with respect to your research, the feedback, the pat on the back that you expect from your client, from your boss, from your father, from your superiors might not come in the way you desire. Plus, luminary is in the eighth house. I'm not a huge fan of it because automatically it reduces the shine from that perspective. But the interesting bit is that in the second half of the month, both Sun and Mercury will become conjunct in your ninth house, where Mercury is going to become exalted. I missed talking about Mars in the first half of the month. Mars will be in your ninth house itself. Now, this is also a period that during this phase, when the ninth lord is 12th to itself, which is Mercury, Mars is present in the ninth. He is the lord of your 11th house and your fourth house. Now, if you have bosses from far distances, if you have any idea of traveling to any far distances, good from that perspective, your gains will materialize to a certain extent. But there will also be argumentative situations with your boss, with your father, with your client, which is what I was alluding to, while Sun and Mercury are in the eighth. So you see how all of that is panning out in the bottom part of the chart, and it's a difficult situation to be in. Again, speculative activities is where your mind will race. You might want to take shortcuts. Capricorns, you are not a sign which is meant for that. You are ruled by Saturn. Saturn is giving retrograded aspects. Even when in the second half of the month, Venus comes being the lord of the fifth house to your eighth, when those opportunities might increase, Saturn will still be giving that retrograded aspect. And now Venus will be conjunct with Ketu. So it becomes difficult, it becomes turbulent. So shy away from it. Shy away from any kind of speculation. Shy away from any kind of absurd investment. Take care of the health of your romantic partner. Take care of the health or the being of your children for that matter. Your education or your interest towards studies might be lost during this period. But this is going to be a critical period for you. The second half of the month is going to be critical with respect to your relationships, with respect to your partnerships. All the good bit that I was saying with respect to your spouse and stuff might find certain degree of challenges here. Or if you are married from a family perspective, that could see certain degrees of difficulties. Second half of the month will also be the period where you will have solar eclipse happening in your ninth house. And now you see, though your ninth lord is exalted, but in your ninth house, now you have the eighth lord coming in. So you see how things are getting navigated. Earlier, the ninth lord was in eighth, and now the eighth lord is in ninth. So the matters related to your client, your work, your own principles, your superiors with respect to your father could get into deep trouble during the time of the eclipse. 21st September is the date, folks. And this is also going to be the period where now Saturn will be getting into its deepest retrogression until Sun is moving out into the sign of Libra. This the that madness of Saturn will continue, and it is much later when Saturn becomes direct in the month of November. Now the other bit also is that your eighth Lord Sun becomes Nicha Bila, means aspiring to become debilitated in the ninth house. Eighth Lord in the ninth, moving towards its debilitation is not a great thing to be in. But the good part is Sun will at least get directional strength there. We will come and talk about that in October. But from a September time frame perspective, second half of this month is where you are going to find the greatest of the difficulties, as I said, with respect to ninth house. It could be with respect to bosses, customers, father, clients, travel, long distance commute, long distance relationships for that matter, any of it. The silver lining is still there, that Mercury is sitting exalted. So Mercury is going to be the savior for you folks, which means trust logical thinking, trust logical reasoning. The decision making might have multiple factors that might be coming into play in your life during this period, but I would not want you to jump into any kind of decision making, especially if September is the month of eclipses and difficult eclipses in difficult houses. Pitrudosh would also start, people. So those of you who have that in your natal chart, Dasha Antardasha of Saturn, Moon, Sun running, you will have to be cautious on that front as well. Now, this is also going to be a time Mars is going to come to the 10th. So amidst all this difficulty and all this challenging situation, the good thing that is happening is that your 11th Lord, albeit he's 12th to itself, is in the 10th. And your 4th Lord is also in the 10th. So your mind, your focus, your energy will be towards your karma. And that's the best thing that is happening for you folks, Capricorns. It's like almost Mars is coming to its natural sign of exaltation. And thereby you will be super motivated to achieve things, to accomplish your goals. You will have a lot of drive towards success. When you find those challenges with your clients, with your bosses, with your superiors, you will be driven, you will be motivated to take the right action. Your work will do the talking. If you're struggling with your investments, with your education, with your studies, your efforts will do the talking. So the karma bit will become crucial for you here onwards. All right. It is going to also be crucial because once Mars gets into your 10th house, he is going to be giving an aspect to your Lagna, to your Rashi, if you're watching from a moon sign perspective, towards your 4th house and your 5th house. Keep a check on your temper. Don't let things slip out of your hand. You might find that you are juggling with multiple balls. There are so many difficulties in life, but don't let things slip out of your hand. It will also make you upset, protective yet upset, possessive maybe towards your family members, towards your assets. You could be more disciplinarian by nature towards your children. All of that will come into picture. But the important part is that how you remain focused towards the karma that you're taking. And that is going to help you through the course of this month. Mars will be in the ninth house earlier. Avoid argumentative situations, confrontations, like I had mentioned in the last month too, with your superiors and bosses. Just go and dine with them, have some food, something sweet to eat, chocolates, if nothing. That will also, settle the heat. That will also calm things down. But I think September is a month, especially because of eclipses and so much happening in the bottom part of your chart, is where you should not be making any kind of rash, ruthless, or crazy decisions. Stick to your game plan, stick to the slow and steady tortoise sort of an approach. And hopefully, if you are going through a good natal dasha, antardasha, it is going to reward you in the right direction. I hope this was time worth spent for you guys. If you find it fruitful, please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dev Astrology, and keep watching.